and so glad that you decided to come and receive and listen to our presentation. What a beautiful opening we had, right? I don't know if any of you were able to connect and were able to see the photos from the whole last 15 years of this conference. Look at how we looked when we were all together, giving each other kisses without masks on, right? Okay. So, the way we were remembering those 15 last years, for those of us who have participated in every year since the last 15 years, I loved the opening. I loved that video. Above all, I loved the speaker, right? How much similarity there was with us as well, right? So again, my name is Hilda Calderon Peña. I come from District 299, which is directed and administered by Mr. Jorge Macias under the Office of Language and Cultural Education. Today, I have with me my colleagues Ruth Peña and Maria Cuellar, who are present here today as well. And they're the ones that are going to be helping us with this meeting. Above all, what I really want to know is, who do we have in our audience? Do we have parents? Do we have community members? Or do we have administrators, teachers? Please, I would love to know, who is it that we have in the audience, so that we can know who we're presiding over during this presentation. I, I'm a parent and I'm part of the BPAC group. Oh, actually, we want you to put it in the chat. We're not going to open up our mics. So please, we're going to try to maintain your microphones since they gave me access to monitor. So for me, it's going to be hard to monitoring the chat and also monitoring the presentation to be able to start it. So please, everybody, make sure you're on mute. And we just really want to know, are you parents? Are you from bilingual committees? Are you teachers? Are you administrators? Thank you very much. And just wanted to add also that the reason when we're doing it in the chat, we can also save more time for the presentation, so that we're not waiting for you to go back and to put your mute on. We do want to hear from everybody. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of time. So at another time, hopefully we'll be able to let you share more. Thank you. So this is an experience. Today is history. Doing this conference in a virtual way. We're including all of us. We can be present in the statewide conference. From the beginning of this presentation, all of us are going to be learning together, okay? So which presentation are we going to be presenting to you today? It's about how to carry out an effective meeting. Good morning. I don't know how I'm going to do. Phil, are you still there? Because we can't. Correct? Because if they're going to be unmuting themselves, please don't unmute yourselves until we give you permission to, okay? Or else this whole event, the whole presentation will be the communication will be in the chat, as was shared with you by my colleague Ruth. And now I put it on so that they can't unmute. Yeah, I've been doing it from the beginning, but then they keep on opening their microphones. So I told Phil, sorry. Remember, since we are dealing with technology. So let's start again. Can you see my screen? Okay, so as I already told you, we come from Chicago Public Schools, from the Office of Language and Cultural Education. Today, we are going to be sharing with you how to carry out an effective meeting. As I said previously, I'm Hilda Calderon Peña. I'm the representative and bilingual leader for community relations for the whole city of Chicago. Today, if Ms. Cuellar wants to give us a few words, and then also my colleague Ruth Peña, so that they know who it is who's going to be sharing this presentation. Good morning, I'm Maria Cuellar. I work in the Office of Language and Cultural Education, and I'm really excited to be here. And I hope that we'll be able to share with you, that this will be a really pleasant moment of lots of learning. And beforehand, I want to just say thank you so much for being with us today. Good morning. I'm Ruth Peña in the Office of Language and Cultural Education also. And I also am really happy that you all have connected this morning. And also, I wanted to, as the speaker said earlier, I also arrived here not speaking any English. So everything is possible in this life. Wanting to do something is being able to do something, and we need to help our students so that they can achieve all of their goals. So thank you so much. Thank you, Ruth. And so, as I said, we don't have a ton of time. They just gave us 45 minutes, but I'm really thankful for the Illinois Resource Center for having put us in the first meeting, the first section since today at this time. We have 6 different other presentations, so I really want to thank you all for having taken the time to come to this one and having chosen us. In the audience, we have 75 people who are participating, who wanted to come and learn about how to carry out an effective meeting. So what is the focus for today? It's around parent participation, right? And so that is essential for bilingual education. So now we are going to continue on. Please remember, they sent a message to you all letting you know about the norms through this conference. And so also when you as a committee or as an organization, it's always important that you have your own norms for following, your ground rules when you're going to have a meeting or do a presentation. So today we wrote down these ground rules based on the platform that we were going to be having today. For those of you who need translation into another language, I know that the person that is in charge is translating. So you see the little globe that you see below. If the presentation is in Spanish, they're translating it for you into the language that you need it to be in. But we also created some ground rules for us to be able to continue with this presentation. In case you have a question or a comment, all of that will be dealt with in the chat. And that's where you'll write down your questions or your comments. And here, my colleagues and me, we will be trying to answer you the best that we can. Because remember, we need to be patient with each other. As you might have seen during the great opening at the beginning, there were a lot of questions. And sometimes there's some questions that we don't get around to, but please try to be patient with us. And also your comments. Wait with your comments until the end of the presentation, because in that way we can be more clear in addressing the question that you have and giving you a better answer. And so before starting, beforehand, I'd really like to thank you for your participation for today in this presentation. What are the results, the learning results that you're going to take away from here? Above all, this is about what you're going to know, what you're going to understand, and what you're going to be able to apply. Above all, as we already know, what is the support that we're going to provide to all of the participants who are here, whether you're BPAC or BAC members? BPAC is like in the state, and the BAC is for the city of Chicago, which is a structure that we have at the local level. But in any case, this learning will help you in other committees as well to have more effective meetings and to be able to have the ideas of how to achieve your objectives. What is it you're going to understand? We're here to understand the purpose of the meeting and the importance of establishing protocols of organization, whether it's for a committee or for a council. What will we apply? You'll be applying the techniques learned today for how to navigate and have success in your virtual meetings. When we say virtual meetings, it's because we're talking about virtual meetings like since the pandemic started. But this learning, you can also be applying these same principles to in person. So these are important things. When you're having a meeting, you need to define what are your results. What is it that you're hoping to achieve in that meeting? And so these are the things that you're going to be learning during the presentation today. So now let's go on towards the agenda. It's very important that when you have your meetings, that you have to be guided by an agenda. If you don't have an agenda, you're not going to know even what's going to happen. Especially having an agenda will help you very much if people come in late or if people miss something and don't know what was the meeting about. And also when you're making notes, taking notes or creating your minutes, you'll know what was talked about, what was it we figured out. Like today, we created an agenda to let you know what is it that'll be covered in the presentation today. Above all, we gave you the welcome, which was done by my colleagues and myself. And we're going to be talking about how to evaluate your first virtual meeting, which is the reason you're here, right? And we're going to also have an activity. We're going to talk about the purpose of the meeting. I'm going to talk about it being important that the committee be well informed about effective communication and effective meetings, and about audience participation. During this presentation, you're going to be participating a lot, but like I said, you should be participating through the chat. So now we're going to move on to our presentation. So this is the first question that I want to ask you all of you all. And you're going to ask me, why are you asking us, how do I evaluate my first virtual meeting? The reason that we're asking you this is because since the pandemic started and you all started to participate in your school, I want to know, what was your impression? How would you evaluate your first virtual meeting? And you can put it in the chat. Was it unsatisfying, so, good, very good, or excellent? But also I want to know, why did you decide on that criteria? I want to know the reason. And when you put it in the chat, please participate. I want you to participate. When you put it in the chat, write what district you're from or what school you're from. Put your name. And I want to know, how was that meeting for you? Was it unsatisfying, so, good? And we can see the chat. Are people answering yet? Maria de Lourdes, she put that she would say that that it was good, very good, or excellent. We're waiting to hear why she said that. Also, Ms. Teron Garcia said it was very good and excellent. Maria de Lourdes said it was really gratifying to be able to communicate, even if it was through this way. Esmeralda said it was good. Let's see. That we learned something. That I'm from District 112. That it was good. Not everybody, though, understood the ground rules or how to navigate with Zoom. Aaron Garcia said we had the district administrator and the superintendent who attended. Thank you. Everybody is putting how they evaluated it, right? But I also want you to answer me why. Why?
So now that everybody answered, and now that you gave us your criteria, please leave this question in your mind because we're going to come back to it later. So now we'll continue. Now we are going to do this activity where I want you to please find three words or more hidden between the letters Rome and Toro. So please, let's participate. We're like in a classroom. We would say sometimes we listen to the teacher. We don't know that they are going to make us work. I want you to find, I am also, people are writing. So if people want to come in, please let us in. If other people want to go in, we are working with the words Roma and Tauro, Rome and Toro. So you see, I apologize. Can you see that? How these words and how many of us have similarities. Many of us found the same words. Some of us took the time to really find other words and difficult words. Others went to the easiest, like uh, so. These activities very to carry out or to create another one according to the science you have. And sometimes we have meetings that every year they come back and they know how to speak, they know how to talk, they know how to see. So there's new parents that are very shy, they don't talk, and they cannot express themselves because they are afraid, because they've been present for a long time, and you say, no, so if I say something, it's going to be the wrong thing to say. Or, you know what's happened to us also? Sometimes now that we're in virtual, we've noticed that people know how to express themselves better in writing because they're not showing their face. They don't want to show their face, but they're not that shy. They can write in the chat. So this activity is like an icebreaker because you don't want your first meeting when new parents come. You don't want them not to go back. What we want is to keep them. We want them coming. We want them to stay active and to continue coming. And this way, we can do different activities so that we can take them out of themselves, secluding themselves, or if it's a new person that comes to the first meeting, to keep them. So it's always good to keep activities that help you increase the participation, but also help us participate as a committee, remembering because the committee is the team with the audience or the parents. So I hope that more or less you have a better advice, or I hope this helps you. Now we're going to go with Maria Cuellar. And so now we took a time to participate, to relax, to open, so that everybody feels comfortable. Okay. Now we have to remember that the committees are official committees. So even if it is a very important benefit and a very important benefit to establish the way we share and socialize, we also have to remember that official committees have a specific purpose. And this specific purpose is to represent, to defend, help, and ensure education and services for children. So now we have to establish common practices and reasons that we're meeting, and that is not only socializing And these reasons are exchanging information, making decisions, sharing concerns, and also important businesses. I'm going to give you a few examples. For example, where we're talking about information exchange or sharing concerns, it's also having in mind more than anything else that the information we want to share and exchange are the programs. Which are the programs, academic programs? Which are the programs offered to our students? How are they offered? How are they implemented? So this information is something we must know. We must be able to share it, not only with ourselves as officers, but also with parents and the community we're presenting. It's also important to know which would be the evaluations, the tests taken by our students so that they could know how that impacts them, how that impacts their teaching and their academic progress. Also, we have to make decisions that are important. Which are some examples of these? It could be when are we going to gather, the dates, the times that is not only convenient for us as officers, but also for the audience we're going to invite to our meetings. Where are we going to gather? What are going to be the topics that they should know, talking about the ones that we just mentioned, and also asking which are their concerns, which are the things they would like to know in order to exercise better the role and model of a parent supporting their son in their education. These are some of the reasons, the common reasons and necessary reasons that must be carried out and in the purpose of the meeting. As a purpose basis, your meetings must start and end at the time you agree upon from the beginning of the school year. The dates of your meetings should be published virtually if we are still in a virtual mode, but even if it's in person or virtual, you should publish the meeting dates and the time. And you have to do it with enough time because, as you say, 48 hours ahead of time. This is part of the open meetings, and this is part of something that we have to acknowledge. Why? Because we want to make sure that we can give you enough time to those that are going to participate so they can do so and that they can be with us at their maximum availability. Now, presentations must be clear, accurate, and in writing. They should send them in writing. When you have your clear presentations with precise and accurate information, the meeting will flow better and there's no confusion. Our confusion is limited because parents can have the necessary information and that they can also understand it. And when you have it in writing, even better, so we could have something visual that we could refer to after or before or in the future to maintain this information. Okay, the meeting should proceed according to an agenda. We're going to see in detail later on, but it is very important, and the members are going to reach an agreement to carry out their meeting according to the rules imposed that would facilitate the debating process so you can debate about the topics and the information that you want to share in an agreed upon manner by you. So dialogue should also be conducted accordingly and always keeping in mind that this is a team and that the team decides and no member has to be imposed upon another one. This is done in your meetings. Okay, we'll go on. How do we do this? How are we able to reach an agreement? How are we able to organize ourselves? So, in order to do that, it's also important for you to be informed about with the basic information that will help us continue learning and will help us increase our knowledge. We have to have at least the knowledge of our titles, responsibilities. Each person is chosen for a specific role. And you should know which are the responsibilities under this role, not only our own, but from the team as a whole. What is my role as a president or chairman? What is the role of the secretary? What is the role of each of the members? So that all of us together can create a team and we can use our capabilities and skills to work with this team and carry out these responsibilities. You should also know which are the protocols and policies. As I mentioned a while ago, we saw that one of the policies on behalf of the open minutes is 48 hours before the meeting. This is something we should know to comply with this rule. The protocols, which are the protocols that we have to work on to be updated, to reach an agreement, and to do things properly. Okay, and we should also have a directory of people we can go to and ask them for help, not only waiting and seeing who's the coordinator and for that person and for all. Let's agree that the meetings, that the committee's hours, let's own our own responsibilities and meetings, and that way we can look for the way of doing things and who with. So this is not for one person or for the coordinator, the chairperson, the administrator. We should know all people that are able to contribute to ensure that we have meetings and that the meetings are proper. Now, an example of that, as I manage, is the administrator, the engineer of the school engineer of the facility where we have the meetings, to be able to communicate with this person and know how to do so. Not only the contact numbers and their email, but what are the protocols to be able to communicate with these people if we are going to, like an example, an engineer. Sometimes in places they tell us they need to request a format to do it in writing, not to call them to do in writing. What are they going to need for the meeting? So these are the things that we should know to be better organized and to plan ahead of time and to be successful in our meetings. So all this information is going to help you do your role and reach your meeting goals. Now, I'd like to give the floor to Ruth, that is going to talk to you about another important aspect. Thank you, Maria. And it's also very important to communicate. Effective communication creates an efficient meeting. It's very important to practice good manners, the right etiquette to be able to comply with our goals, to ensure that everybody is working as a team and that everyone is treating people in a way that they can feel welcome and comfortable. It's also important to avoid unnecessary interruptions. Sometimes we're pending on other things, or sometimes we're talking, and sometimes if we didn't see our peers, it's hi, how are you? And we're interrupting or we're not paying attention to the people that are talking in the meeting. We interrupt people that are interested in knowing more and when they came for the meeting. Avoid distractions and don't do side conversations or long conversations. Go to the point and others consider other suggestions. We're a team. So it's not only what I put at the table and what I want. We have to work as a team to ensure everybody feels comfortable and that you want to go back and you want to continue participating and being present during the meeting. Many times we're present in our body, but our minds are deviating somewhere away. We're doing side conversation, texting, responding, or listening to our emails. Being present means being here now in our mind and our body. Explain your ideas clearly. Say what you're going to say so it is short and efficient. It's also important to include all the members, be courteous and keep serenity. I'm sure that we've all been in a meeting that somebody says something that we don't like at all and we jump. So we have to be sure to continue being calm, and because maybe they didn't do this comment with a bad intention, they just made a comment. So I think make sure you have the translation where it is necessary. I don't know if you notice here in the bottom there is an interpretation globe. So for people that come to our meeting and don't speak Spanish. It's very important for you in our meetings. Always have the opportunity, and we can translate the people that come and don't understand the language that we're using, because we don't want anybody to feel as an outsider or unwelcome. And for them to continue participating and the meetings to be efficient, we have to make sure they feel welcome and that they feel that what they are understanding what is being done. Next, please. So let's go back to everything we've done this morning. First of all, Ruth, I'd like to apologize. Before you go to your summary, can we do one more exercise? Of course, yes. Let's do one more exercise before we go back to the summary. I would like to stop those that are listening to us. I don't want them to listen to us so much. Some people are saying we're listening to these three people all the time. And who says that what they say is the right thing? I'd like to make an exercise. Everybody see me. I want to see all your eyes looking into me. Everybody pay attention and look at me. I'm going to see each and every one of you. Those that are not looking at us, I want you to do this exercise with me. And I want you to breathe deeply. Breathe in deeply, and breathe out all the way out. Okay? How do you feel your brain? Now the brain is thinner. After that, I want us to see with your own eyes 5 things. I want you to see 5 things. And I'm here and you have the presentation, but given it is focused on you, I could not focus in seeing 5 things. And now, did you find 5 things where you're at? It could be those that are on the phone or those that are outside, and you can see more things. However, if you can find 5 things, good. After finding 5 things, remember having in your mind these 5 things that you found. After 5 things, look for 4 things that you feel. 4 things that you feel. Have you ever thought about that? Things that you feel. And look in your brains for things that you feel. And now we are going to look for 3 things that you listen to. Since I'm hidden and locked away here, I have to really see what am I listening to. I have to find 3 things. And you're with me? 3 things. We are going to find 2 things that you can read, that you can smell. So I can smell the fogged air. It seems to be rainy, and we can smell the coffee. You can think about many things that you can do, and also looking for other things, and also something else. And what could you flavor? Why can't you flavor the smell of gum or coffee? So, what is that made us do this exercise? What were we able to achieve through this exercise? It's also very important for us that when we're stressed in particular, that when we are in a meeting and different topics are happening, or we are, I'm challenging my peer, the way they're doing their presentation, or the audience is complaining about something. And also, in your mind, you have to think with your five senses. Many of us, we don't do that. And you notice we use our sight, our ear, our smell, our sense of scent, of taste. So they say we're multitask, and it's not true. We do, our brain gets more tired, and we cannot like in the meeting that we're having, because really we are everywhere. And this exercise, I loved it because she was talking with the children. This is a video in English where you see it virtually, and it explains to you how to work with all your senses, and it helps a lot to go back to having peace of mind, because you can go back to your meeting, to the meeting where you are. That helps you mentally. I don't know if you liked it or you didn't like it. Okay. Yes, we have many comments. The exercise is of relaxation and focusing. Perfect. I love the activity. You're right. Yes, see. It is very important, because how are we going to head an effective meeting if you are not prepared? Therefore, I wanted to do this before Ruth Peña would continue asking questions, or first we have to clean our brains so we can give a procedure to this meeting. Thank you. I hope you liked it. I hope you like this exercise. Thank you, Silva. Now we are going to go back. I'm going to give you the presentation again. There it is. The next one, please. So we're going to go back. We're going to, in a nutshell, now that we have a clear mind, which was the first activity and what was it all about? Please, if you can write it down in your chat. You recall what was the first activity we did? You don't remember? Our mind is so clean that we also forgot that. Words. Exactly. Roma and Torah. Roma and Torah, both words. And also that you created new words with those words. What is the purpose of a meeting? Anyone? We are going to. Can you put in the chat what is the main purpose? My peer, Mam Cuellar, had an effective meeting. What is the purpose of an effective meeting? What else about having an effective meeting? Behind it is being informed, is being prepared, is preparing our community with information, is informing. What and why is it important that committees are informed? Why is it important that committees are informed? For decision-making purposes, for bringing information to the rest of the group, because sometimes committees receive the information first than the rest of the school community, and understanding the topics that the school is being prepared. Thank you. In being able to inform parents. Thank you, and thank you for being interactive in this presentation and sharing information. Thank you. And communication, effective communication. What does it include? Effective communication is a resource for parents, and communication, being able to share with parents, being united with the main school. That is one of the goals. What does an effective communication include? Can you write down in your chat? parents that are well informed and understand. They are comfortable and they can understand the importance of having their mother tongue. But in an effective meeting, in a meeting, what is effective communication? What does effective communication mean? Provide transparency, being present, respect, the words are clear for everyone, respecting different opinions, avoiding unnecessary interruptions. Very good. Yes, your mind is clear, and we are using the information. Oh, and starting and ending in this certain date and up to date that we agree upon, that the message is clear, that we're present in the presentation, and at least that we're able to absorb most of the information, because when we're informed, our children benefit. Is it true or not? Having translation, very good. And also, when we are informed, our children have greater power, and we can help our children, we can help our school, we can help our community. Thank you so much. And also, the translation is extremely important. I remember going to a meeting and I didn't understand in a different language that was not English or Spanish. So I felt bad because I didn't understand. Do you think I'm going to go back to the next meeting? Of course not. So it's important for people to feel welcome, comfortable, and that they feel respected. So it is also very important so that people will continue participating. And thank you for your participation. We thank you for being here and these you're participating next time. We are a little late, but next slide. It is having an efficient meeting, is having a successful meeting, as my peer said. It's also very important that meetings are done in an efficient manner, that the participation is public, that public participation is observed, that the meeting starts at a certain time, ends at certain time, and we respect times. Aside from having this meeting that starts and ends on time, to make sure that all topics that are in the agenda have been touched upon, to ensure that the plans are performed. And after ending the meeting, we have to select a date so that the committee is prepared to have the next meetings, because everything happens and goes through planning. If we don't plan, we cannot have a meeting and we cannot carry out our jobs. And here I'd like to give you my peer. Okay, very quickly, because time is running away. I'm going to touch upon these topics. An organized committee has in mind, and this is very important, has heads the meeting. Being on time is very important. We're always on time. We is set before time to present this presentation on we prepared with time the presentation. We didn't wait until the day to see what was the information and how we were going to present it. Committees should be timely. They should not be in the time of the meeting, but timely ahead of time, so that we can carry out our meetings on time and do them. Okay, heading, being present, being responsible, please. And being responsible doesn't mean that we have to be there at all times, every moment. We know things happen, there's emergencies. What is important here is to always be communicative. If we cannot comply with something, we have to be accountable. We have to communicate with our team to know. Okay, so we have to observe time limits. We have to ensure we talk about these topics, carrying out the meetings according to the agenda, so that we can all be organized, we can comply with what is happening, and we can share, and we don't get out of the topic. We don't deviate. Knowing the knowledge, the standards, only if you know them, you'll be able to know how to exercise your role, how to carry out your meetings. It's also important for you to have in writing your assignments. Nowadays, we knew who was going to present what topic ahead of time and at that time, and that is how the committee has to work to see who's going to be in charge of what the day of the meeting and carry that out. So to make sure to have the quorum and declare it is very important, because only like that we are going to without having to be present. If you're not present, you're not going to be able to do that. And very important, as I mentioned, keeping an open dialogue amongst you, exchanging the information and keeping informed of your practices and what are your goals, and informing yourself and communicating before and after is very important. We're not going to do this activity because they're telling us I wanted to finish at 12 and they told us that we should not. Let's go back where we went for the first time.
I would like you all to answer for me based on the brief information that you heard from my colleagues. Do you continue to give the same criteria to the first meeting that you attended? Because what I want to let you know is, I want to let you know why we're asking you this question. In District 299, we were sure that all the bilingual committees in their first meetings, the administration or the person in charge of the bilingual program needs to make sure to be sure of how many students are in the bilingual program, how many teachers are certified to be able to offer qualified instruction, which program is being applied at the local level. And we always ask that. What is the information that you received? But whether it's the bilingual committee or another committee, it's always important when you go to your first meeting to make sure that the administration explains about the programs that are being carried out in the school. Also, many of your students, they're not always going to be in the bilingual programs. They might be in a transitional program. So, for you to have assure the best education for your child, it's important for you to have knowledge of what are the offerings of that school. If you don't know, then you're not going to know when you go to register for the school or to high school. And that's the reason why we ask you all, how would you evaluate that meeting based on the practices that we've been sharing with you? This has really helped us a lot with our parents. Uh, we also have part of the Chicago Multilingual Parent Council representing the entirety of the city of Chicago. We have the board of directors. I really want to thank them for being here. But that's really the reason. That's the reason we ask you, how do you evaluate those meetings, right? Because it's important that you evaluate all of the meetings to know whether or not your results were good, or what is it that you're going to do next in order to help yourself to better organize your meetings and the meetings of your colleagues. So now I want to go ahead and open up the floor in case anybody has any questions. I know Phil has been saying to me that we are. Oh, I'm sorry. No, normally we have a full hour, but they didn't give us a full hour this time. They just gave us 45 minutes. So I guess in that case, I really hope that you all have effective meetings. Time will tell, and I hope that everything has been clear and that you get the message across to your audiences. I'm seeing people saying thank you. And don't forget, please don't forget to fill out your evaluations at the end. There was a link that'll be sent to you for the evaluation, and you get a participation certificate for having participated in this conference. So thank you. There's my contact information. If you have any questions, there's my email and my cell phone number. We are from District 299 from Chicago Public Schools. The evaluation you will see once the presentation is over. Once the conference is over, I'm sorry. And you can go to the link then for the next presentation that you want to go to.